Before we get into today's Cowboys report, we are roughly halfway through the month of June. Let's check in on the NFC East sub-battle. Not going great. Now, look, we're at a disadvantage. We're bigger. The Commanders and Giants, and especially the Eagles, are all ahead of us. Let's change that. You want more free Cowboys videos, great Cowboys training camp coverage as well? Hit that sub button for me right now. Let's discuss one of the big NFL news items of the day. Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson. We'll deal with you guys later. I want to focus on the Trey Smith extension because this one, more than the other two, directly impacts the Dallas Cowboys' long-term planning when it comes to contracts for their own T. Smith. Trey Smith, the Chiefs' now highest-paid guard in football, got a 4-year. It is $92 million. I know the initial reporting had 94. There's incentives not likely to be earned, so for the highest-paid purposes, 92 is the figure that matters here. $23 million per year, $70 million guaranteed. Both of the figures that matter, total money and guaranteed money. Trey Smith is the highest paid guard in football. He beat out Landon Dickerson by $2 million, in large part because Trey Smith is basically getting the franchise tag on a multiple-year deal. The guaranteed money, maybe most notably, significantly higher than anybody else. Robert Hunt was at $63 million. Chris Lindstrom was second. Trey Smith beats out Hunt by $7 million. So the first 2-3 years and change of his deal is guaranteed. This impacts the Cowboys because we know that Tyler Smith is going to beat Trey Smith's contract. Whenever that deal gets done, Tyler Smith will surpass Trey Smith and probably any other guards who got paid, if there are any, in between, as the highest paid at his respective position. So if you want Trey Smith, or Tyler Smith, excuse me, I'll probably make that mistake again. If you want Tyler Smith, you have to pay him. As we'll get into, as we broke down a couple months ago with the agent change, it's not an alternative option available for you. It is highest paid, or you don't have him long term. So with that in mind, do you want to make Tyler Smith the highest paid guard in football? This will be the pinned comment on today's video. Y for yes, N for no. Sound off at that pinned comment right now. Here's the reason why he's going to be higher paid. ESPN dropped their interior offensive line rankings. Zach Martin was number one, no longer the case. There is a new Cowboy at the number 2 spot, ahead of Quenton Nelson, ahead of Trey Smith, behind only a center in Creed Humphrey. That's Tyler Smith. So the NFL as a whole, it is the opinions of various personnel, execs, scouts. Maybe the wrong sample size was taken. But based on that list, the league already views Tyler Smith as the best guard in football. He is already ahead of Trey Smith on that list. This was done, obviously, before the contract got paid, but we knew what was going to happen with Trey. So if you're Tyler Smith and you are already regarded as the best guard in football, why wouldn't you expect to also be the highest paid guard in football when your time came? Even if he's not the number one guy. Maybe he has someone has a better year, Trey Smith's better, or you think Quenton Nelson's still a little bit better. He's in that top tier. He is in that elite tier of this is in the conversation for all pros on a consistent basis. And we have seen it time and time again in the contract world for the NFL. The next guy up in that tier, in that bucket, has the leverage. They get paid more than the guy before them. And as we'll get into in a little bit, you do need to remember who the agent is. And again, we'll go more in depth on that in a second. It's not exactly a good thing if you want to save money from the Cowboys' perspective. Before that, though, this Cowboys hoodie is on sale. It was $55, now it's $33. It's not really hoodie season, especially in Dallas or Texas or almost anywhere in the continental United States when it's July 15th. But it's a perfect fall addition to your wardrobe, so take advantage of the sale. Buy early and save money. Was $55, now it's $33. Link will be in the comments section and the description of today's show. It's chatsports.com/DAL hoodie. Now, we mentioned this back in May, as long ago as that was. Feels like an eternity because there's no football on. But Tyler Smith flipped agents. He joined Athletes First, he is going to be rep by two agents, Joe Panos and Todd France. And I'm sure you guys all remember Todd France. He cooked the Cowboys. He took them out to the woodshed, frankly, on both Dak Prescott deals. Both Dak Prescott contracts, he essentially got everything he wanted because the Cowboys aren't good at this whole negotiation process there. So if you had harbored team-friendly dreams of Tyler Smith will take less to stick with us, not going to happen. And the Cowboys have a chance with this particular contract to kind of right some wrongs, some issues they've run into that they have created because of their own mistakes. They're dealing with it right now with maybe the biggest or second biggest athlete's first agent, David Mulugeta, with the Micah Parsons contract. He is an athlete's first client. Tyler Smith is an athlete's first client. Your kicker, who we all want to pay, Brandon Aubrey, he's an athlete's first client. George Pickens, about to be a free agent, he's an athlete's first client. Tyler Guyton down the road, we'll see. Malik Hooker, going to be a free agent not this year, but next year. Kenneth Murray is an athlete's first. That's Ryan Williams, who I recall really did the Brandon Ayuk deal. You got to play ball. The agents have too much power these days. There is one positive here, and that is the fact that Joe Panos knows Jerry Jones extremely well. Those two, in a more positive sense of agent-client relationship, although it got a little bit bad at the last Tyron Smith extension timeline. When Tyron Smith retired, his agent was Joe Panos. He was at his retirement press conference. And Tyron went out of his way to give Joe Panos a shout-out. And then Jerry Jones followed up on that and gave him a shout-out. Said, quote, "I've never seen anybody do more and get more involved to help him than you did as his friend and agent." Now, Panos also just got Penei Sewell paid. So it's not going to help the team save some money. It is not going to be a repeat, I don't believe, of that maybe bad in the long run because it hurt the Cowboys' contract viewpoints, that 7-8-year Tyron Smith deal that was so insanely team-friendly because he just didn't want to deal with the money stuff. That's not going to happen again. But there is at least some semblance of a good relationship there for at least one of the agents involved. So tying that part in, what is your confidence level in the Cowboys when it comes to contracts? Scale it for me from 1 to 10. 1, the low end. 10, the high end. Let me know in the comments of today's show. The current Tyler Smith contract shakes out like this. It's $4.26 million on the cap for this year. Pretty cheap. The fifth-year option, because the NFL is a bunch of silly gooses, they don't believe in separating guard and center tackle. It's all offensive linemen. Smith's got all pros. It's $21.27 million. It's expensive. That's kind of your floor already. Like, he was already in line to be the highest paid guard. It jumped now with the Trey Smith deal. In 2027, he is a free agent. Now, you could franchise tag him if you wanted to. The 2026 tag cost is a current projected, could change, 27.6. Given the way years typically increase the amount of the tags, you're probably staring down the barrel of $30 million, which is like top-end tackle money, way more than the highest paid guard. Even 2 years from now, I don't think it's going to be at 30. You don't want to use the franchise tag, period. It's a bad idea. It is not something you want to get to. So instead, you want to work out an extension. At minimum, right now, today, this is probably what the price tag is. It's more than Trey Smith. It's $23.5 million per year. The guaranteed money is $71 million per year. And by the way, that is if you don't drag this out. That is the rough cost because it's more than what Trey Smith got. It's just a little bit more. That figure, $494, $23.5, $71 million guaranteed, that is if you don't drag this out. If you wait to next year, when the salary cap goes up, you know what you're going to end up having? A scenario where the agency is going to go, yeah, you know, that was a record-setting guard contract offer right now, but the salary cap's gone up. So we're going to aim for the exact same percentage of the salary cap, which that went up $15 million, so you owe us more than just that figure. It's also barely top 10 at tackle. We all love Tyler Smith. If we're going to claim he is a top guard in football, like most of us do, you got to pay him as such as well. This will be an expensive contract. The nice part is Cowboys don't actually have that many of them. Go look at the Eagles books. All their big deals. You've given out big contracts to Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, Oso Odigizua, at some point Micah Parsons. You've got plenty of money. You can pay Tyler Smith not even blink an eye with the way your funds are set up. In fact, it'll actually save you money in the long term because you don't have to do the franchise tag stuff. My gut feeling, though, we've seen this story before. The Tyler Smith contract, and maybe DeRon Bland or George Pickens if they franchise tag him, that will drag out. That this deal with him being on the fifth-year option will be the 2026 version of the Micah Parsons contract. And it's just going to take into June, July, probably August to get Tyler Smith paid at the contract that we all already actually know exactly how much it's going to cost.